Welcome to News RATNA. I'm VARSHA Pandeey.
Sarkar is only for the rich. The poor will die in hunger. We will die in hunger. Then the coronavirus. These are the statements of the poor people in India who are trying to go home. The migrants are suffering on the daily basis, but where is the government and where is their support? They are trying to go their home, but they fear that they will die in hunger rather than any COVID-19. Let's find the truth. One of the most telling human stories to result from the COVID-19 outbreak and the resulting nationwide lockdown is that of stranded migrant workers. But there isn't a new story. It has taken a pandemic for urban India to take note on an issue that has remained an unseen aspect of country's economy for much of its glorious history. Recently, 16 workers from Madhya Pradesh were killed under a train in their sleep in Aurangabad. What does it say about us that our first reaction is to question why the dead workers were sleeping on tracks and not those who pushed them to walk home? How many Indian publications even bother to give names of the workers crushed under the train? They just had to go faceless and nameless. That is our attitude towards the poor. If it had been a plane crash, you would have helplines giving information. Even if there had been 300 killed in the crash, their names would appear in the newspaper, but 16 poor guys from Madhya Pradesh. They were walking along those railway lines as a guide to home, to a station from where they hoped to get a train home. They slept on the tracks because they were exhausted and probably believed there were no trains playing on those lines. With a workforce as huge as one in India, what do you think of communication of governments to workers? We gave a nation of 1.3 billion human beings and just 4 hours to shut down their lives. A small infantry brigade being pushed into a major action is given more than 4 hours notice. Whether or not we agree with the migrant workers, they know, and every hour we are proving how untrustworthy, inconsiderable and cruel this government is. The virus sent the country complete into a chaos with millions on the highway. But we could have easily converted the marriage halls, schools and colleges, community centers that were shut down into the shelter homes for migrant and homeless on time before they started their journey to death. We declared star hotels into quarantine centers for people returning from abroad. When we arranged trains for the migrants, we charged them full fare. Then we put in AC trains and Rajdhani class for rupees 4,500. To make it worse, the government said that the tickets can be booked online, assuming they will have smartphones. Some of them could buy those tickets and some not. But in Karnataka, they cancelled them because the chief minister meets the builders who say the slaves are escaping. What you are witnessing is the quelling of an anticipated slave rebellion. Believe it or not, but we always have one standard for the poor and one for others. Even though when you list essential services, the poor and migrants have to always suffer, as they are no one but a machine, slave or tools to fulfill our desires. How can we be so insensitive? Migration has happened for decades and their condition was terrible even before the lockdown. How do you see the way we treat our migrant workers in general? There are many kinds of migrants, but you have to understand the class distinction of migration. There are long-term migrants, those who leave from A to B and remain permanently in B. Then there are seasonal migrants, but the people we should be concerned are called footloose migrant workers. The footloose migrant has no clear idea of final destination. They will come with a contractor and work at a construction site in metropolitan cities for 90 days. At the end of the period, they have nothing. The contractor will put them in touch with someone else to be part of the country and work on a construction site. That is a wretched life with total unending insecurity, and they are in millions. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar saw this clearly. He understood that it wasn't just about government that we have to talk. We have to talk about workers being at the mercy of business. The states are suspending laws that he helped to bring in, that he laid the grounds for. There is an old saying, when the poor become literate, the rich lose their palanquin bearers.
Thank you for watching, and you can drop your suggestions. Namaste.